Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now August 9th of 2025, and given that Netflix is still going through various issues not just associated with Meghan Markle herself, but also with, of course, the general public's view of Meghan Markle, how they now view Netflix after not only focusing on With Love Meghan Season 2 and doubling down on this show, but also by removing beloved content and putting on subpar content while also raising rates, right? Raising prices for the subscription plans and how they do plan to actually bump up prices again by the later half of this year. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing about Meghan Markle right now is that yes, we do know that she's getting caught in multiple acts of doing all the wrong things that you could even imagine. We know that everything going on right now over at Netflix is pretty much an unorganized, ugly mess. That's the best way to really describe it, is that Ted Sarandos, Greg Peters, the executives, the entire corporate ladder is in pretty much, a frantic state due to everything that's happening with the marketing campaign for the show, the press tour, which is an utter disaster, and how Meghan Markle continues to only worsen that, both behind the scenes and in the public eye. However, what's really interesting here has a lot to do with secret messages, specifically actually attached to Meghan Markle, and exactly how it's putting Netflix in an even more complex spot right now. So, focusing on all of this, what's really intriguing here is that yes, we already know that Greg Peters and Ted Sarandos, they are really trying to just get past Meghan Markle and focusing more on the future. They want to focus on their actual real shows that are big hits on streaming, and that's it. However, with the reshoots for With Love Meghan Season 2 now officially over, and yes, it is officially over, and Meghan Markle is still going off the rails after her cancellation at Netflix, one major development that is now active involves more to do with what Netflix executives and producers recently uncovered while cleaning out her office as executive producer for the project at Netflix HQ after she was scrubbed. Now, one shocking discovery that Netflix came across involved archived notes, so to speak, to her team while she was working on With Love Meghan Season 2. The notes consisted of specific messages and demands to actually her own team that were actually stored in her desk/workstation that involved her team to watch all episodes of shows like Pamela Anderson's Cooking with Love and many episodes of the Rachel Ray cooking show. Netflix discovered that Meghan Markle had a team doing her own dirty work, essentially, or was going to do her own dirty work, to become familiar with the cooking shows made by Rachel Ray and Pamela Anderson, and that her team would actually then direct the information of the details of those episodes on how she could apply the same details, essentially copy those shows, to her own show, in this case With Love Meghan. Another secret message that was in the form of a note that were meant to be sent to her team involved Meghan Markle making specific requests to her own team to convince Netflix to allow her to handpick her own fans to come in as test screeners to give Netflix internal positive press. Essentially, this would have resulted in false feedback if Meghan Markle got her way, as she was attempting to set up or orchestrate false test screeners to take part in the many screenings through her team, helping out with those tasks to become complete. Now, Netflix executives handed over these notes to the higher-ups, including Ted Sarandos and Greg Peters, and it's creating so much buzz within Netflix HQ that it's also spreading throughout the entire film industry internally, as Netflix CEO Greg Peters now is also pressuring Ted, the other CEO, to create a large-scale lawsuit against Meghan Markle for this as well, after what she attempted to do, after what they found actually stored away in her own workstation. To make matters worse is that Meghan blamed her team for those notes and claims that nothing was written by her individually, an obvious lie coming from Meghan Markle. Why? Well, get this, since Netflix made a debate that they know her writing style and the way she presents herself through emails. That's a very interesting point by Netflix, by the way. Before I move on, I want to bring up this very interesting point. They knew that she was lying because they matched the way that she wrote things in emails to the way that she actually wrote things in those notes that were actually meant to be sent to her own team to really, kind of research Pamela's show, research Rachel Ray's show, and how she could actually have her own team tell her how to copy those shows and to actually make it more streamlined for herself, to just do it in a step 1, 2, 3 process, quick and easy for her, right? And that just goes to show you how lazy Meghan Markle is. But not just lazy even for a liar and for one that acts in plagiarism. And you know what? Look, we already know that Netflix is really trying to suit up a lawsuit against Meghan Markle and now her team because they were indeed involved in these acts of plagiarism or attempting to do so. And that really is another big problem over at Netflix, is that Ted Sarandos, this all falls back on him. He is the sole individual that thought that Meghan Markle would be a great idea to give her this $100 million contract deal some time ago. How did that work out, Netflix, right? It didn't work out so great now, did it? So, beyond that, alright, continuing on, in addition to all of this, all of the drama is exactly why a trailer has yet to drop for Season 2, and all of these internal issues are creating a lack of focus within Netflix. A trailer for Season 2 is nearly complete, yes, however, it doesn't include any new shot footage that was done during the reshoots. Something that Meghan Markle is also very angry about since she wants her improvised material to be seen in the trailer. Ted Sarandos is now using this, of course, to just pump out his trailer and call it a day without spending extra funds, recreating it and remarketing Season 2. Everything is already getting unorganized, thanks to Meghan Markle behind the scenes for the corporate ladder. And you know what, that is, the honest truth here, is that the corporate ladder over at Netflix, they are frightened about With Love Meghan Season 2. And the reason why they're not canceling this thing, as I said yesterday and the day before, is that their contract is so complex with Meghan Markle, it's so expensive, and they would really have to pay a large amount of money to really get out of it. So they probably feel, you know what, let's just ride it out, let's just get through this thing, let's ride the wave and just call it a day afterwards. And that's it. That's what they're going to have to do. They did this with the Ironheart series for Disney and how Marvel went through that. They're going to do the same exact thing here, but they're going to hide it as much as possible. Again, we were supposed to get that trailer by late July. It's crickets right now. We're approaching the middle point of August in a short number of days. And that's basically abysmal because they plan to drop this thing by September. And that's the overall plan. Unless things change, there will be a delay. But overall, it's not looking likely that you're going to get a trailer within the next day or two. That's pretty much a no-go at this point. They have to really spend a lot more time on that. But overall, when we're looking at everything that Meghan Markle tried to do with her team through these secret messages / notes that were actually going to be mailed out, handed out to them, and how they could actually orchestrate, like I said, what they were going to do with getting her own fans in on the test screeners and really getting them in the test screenings, and how they were also going to have her do, their own job, right? She wanted them to do her own job of basically copying Pamela Anderson's show and copying elements of Rachel Ray's show. But in the long run, she ended up doing that herself anyway. She didn't need her own team, now did she? Well, parts of that were in Season 2. Netflix had to actually cut it out and edit it all out, and that's why they had to do reshoots. But overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.